2 world wars, didn't he?
Out here's the mustard grounds, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, he probably busted out there.
Did you know Charlie Sullivan?
Charlie Sullivan.
He married Martingale. Talk about somebody that tells some lies about that goddamn place. He had a...
Ask some questions to fill in for that last time.
All right.
So, you went to Belgrade High School?
Very little.
Did you go to the high school at all?
Yeah.
What grade did you go to? Did you quit before?
Ninth.
Went to 9th grade? So you're like a freshman in high school.
Now you got me.
Because that school had all the grades from 1st grade all the way up to the 12th grade. Up here, the school up here, what's the old building, right?
There it is, right up there.
Okay. That's the one that you went to?
Yeah.
It wasn't a 2-story?
No, it isn't. My mother. She went to.
You went to the 2-story one?
No, hell, they made that 2-story building. And we got the little granite wall over here in Caledonia. You got the grade school, got the schoolhouse over there. That was a fact.
Well, what school did you go to? What did it look like? You didn't go to this one that's up here right now. You didn't go to where the grade school is right now.
Yeah.
And it was a high school though at that time. Mm-hmm. It was 2 stories.
2 stories. They made it 2 stories.
Was it 2-story while you were there?
No.
It was still one.
They done that in the 40s, didn't they? But
wait a minute. They did have a 2-story. Because Mason there, we picked a school teacher and had her crying, and he aimed to throw the principal down the steps. He was a pretty rough cop.
Who's that?
Eldon.
Eldon Mason? He was the superintendent, or
no? He's going to whoop the superintendent.
Oh, Eldon went to school with you?
Yeah.
Eldon Mason, okay. But it was the 2-story building that you were going.
Yeah.
Do you remember if you're up on the top floor or the bottom floor?
Bottom floor.
Bottom floor. You never did have a grade up on the top floor? Do you remember any of the other guys that went to service that you were going to school with in that school?
Let's see.
Alvin Dennis?
Well, he come over here from Hardscrabble School. It burned down, and they hauled them kids over here. This house right up here where Conways live now, Doug. Right up here. Joe used to live up there. That's the old school building part of it. And Pete Dennis, he sold them in a Model T truck. He had a stock rack on it, had full of kids when he come by.
Were you aware of that? If there was another school there?
I never was around Belgrade that much growing up.
So Alvin Dennis went to that school, not to where the grade school is now. So you didn't really go to school with him?
No.
You don't remember any guys that you went to school with that ended up in the service in World War II?
Let's see.
How about Sutton? There was a Sutton. I forgot what his name was.
Ronnie?
No, I don't think so.
Joe?
Maybe. He was a pilot. He ended up being a pilot, I think.
I remember the Galahar boy that lived over here, and he was a tail gunner on a B-17, and crashed out there close to Salem, and he had to bail out it. That is a fact. He jumped out there.
And where was he from?
Over about 3 miles over here.
Okay.
I think, oh hell, the guy that owns this, Lamore, that owns the tin factory, owns the place now.
Yeah, up BB Highway.
Yeah.
So you don't remember a whole lot about the Belgrade school or high school? But actually you didn't go to the high school.
Pardon?
You didn't actually go to the high school.
No. They, most of the time, before they had high school here, they took them to Arndale. And Linton, my oldest brother, drove the bus there. Rickman had a bus, and he drove the bus down there and back.
Okay. Well, when you did go to school, how did you get there?
Walk.
Walk? Okay. You remember any of your teachers?
Yeah, I remember one mean one, old man Woods. I was out there getting a drink of water, and the bell rung, and I was waiting to get a drink. And it had the old pump, you know, that pump damn thing. And he picked me up by the gallows and carried me in the schoolhouse like that in one hand. Ooh, that hurt. And his wife teaches there, Mary Woods.
There probably weren't that many teachers, were there?
Pardon?
Would they have one teacher per grade or something?
No, one teacher teach a whole damn bunch of them.
Back in them days, one teacher taught usually from 1 to 8th grade, didn't they? They didn't have no kindergarten.
Did you play any sports at school?
Pardon?
Did you play any sports at school?
Yeah.
Okay. They had organized sports, or you just played, like, get together with a group?
Oh, we had little school meets, and believe it or not, I come in first in the broad jump. 17 and a half foot. God damn, I felt like I had wings when I went.
Used to run foot races.
And they had basketball. They played on the outside on the dirt floor. And the older brother, he played in it. They'd have meets, Caledonia, and so he'd come out there and they run hurdles. He was a hurdle runner, jumper.
So just all the towns, different towns from...
Yeah, and the one guy, he was, I forget how far it was around the field. His name was Hall, and he could really turn it on.
Where's he from?
Caledonia.
You don't remember if he went to World War II or not?
No, he was older.
Okay. So even when you had those meets, though, you're just like probably around 8th grade or something? Still? After you got out of school, what kind of work did you do? Some work around here or something?
Well, I was helping old man do carpenter work.
Was he like?
He was a horse's ass.
I thought he was a pretty good guy.
Yeah, he starts saw a goddamn 2x4 and he take too many cuts. He say, "What's wrong with that goddamn saw?" I said, "Dude." We'd end up cussing one day and I'd go home.
Mostly did work around Belgrade?
Yeah. Dug a little tip.
Dug some tip? What was it? Mostly work for your dad and other times?
Granddad.
Oh, for your granddad?
Mm-hmm. His name was Walton.
What was his first name?
Ants.
Ants? What was your dad's name?
George Robert.
Well, did you get drafted or did you?
Yeah, I got drafted.
Got drafted.
Long claw marks going down Broadway before they drug me into Jefferson Barracks.
Do you remember? Do you remember the date that you were inducted, or you don't have to get up and get any papers or anything right now? But do you remember how long you stayed at Jefferson Barracks before they sent you out of there?
Just night and a day.
One night and one day. What did you do? I guess when you got drafted, you got a notice, and then you were told to report to Jefferson Barracks.
And they would took me in the Navy. I had to go down to the federal building down in the city and take another exam, and I wouldn't take it. I said, I'll take it to the Army. Hut 234.
So when you went to Jefferson Barracks, they wanted you to go to the federal building and take a test
to get it in the Navy.
But you said, what, you went down there and you just decided you...
No, I didn't go down there.
You just told them you didn't want to go?
I didn't want to go.
Was there any reason why they told you to go down to take the test?
Well, I guess I had eyes like an eagle. I could meet a car at night and instead of telling what the car was, I could tell who was driving it.
So when you took the test, when you first went to Jefferson Barracks, I guess they had you take a test there.
Yeah.
And then from the results of that test, they said that they thought it would be a good idea for you to take the test for the Navy.
Well, they had the Navy recruiting officers there. They had short of men. They picking them up and taking them down there.
But you didn't want to go anywhere?
No. All I had all I wanted is through the CC camps. And
you wanted to be in the Army because your brothers were in the Army, or
no?
You just didn't want to be in the Navy?
I didn't want to be in the Navy.
You'd rather be on the ground? You didn't want to be out on a ship, or?
I didn't want to take the damn test.
Okay. So you're at Jefferson Barracks one day, and while you're there, you had to take a test. Remember anything else you had to do while you're there? They gave you your clothes?
They give us a few clothes and put us on a troop train, and it's coming down, and they had the windows open, and just hollering at every gal they seen along the streets, and the sergeant come in and made us close the windows, and they pulled on the side, and down here at Bismarck, and I've seen Martin and Arbor Duty go into Siskett over and get a pint, and I watched him go up the hill, and I laid my own mess to get down. That was the time I was ever homesick in my life.
What do you mean you laid your mess kit down?
Well, it was eating chow.
Okay. So, by the time you got to Bismarck, you were homesick because you seen some friends going out having a good time.
Yeah, they was going up the hill towards Belgrade.
Who were those guys?
Huh?
Who were the guys that you seen?
Bill Martin and Arbor Duty, both of them are dead.
And they were too old to go to the service, or they hadn't been drafted yet?
Well, they was too old. Martin had a heart murmur. He couldn't make it, and Duty, he was, I don't know, 200, I guess.
Okay, and then at Jefferson Barracks, did you also get any shots or anything? Or you didn't have time to get shots? They just kind of told you where, did they assign you to what? Where did they tell you, they put you on a train, where did they send you to?
The Petersburg, Florida. I've done more time on it than the rookie done now on Al Lang's Field. That's what they called it then.
Al Lang's Field?
Yeah.
So by the time you left at Jefferson Barracks, did they already assign you to the Air Corps?
No.
When you got to Allings Field, is that when you were assigned to the Air Corps?
They gave us an aptitude test on electricity, and it should draw out little diagrams, and hell, I didn't know what to do. I just drew them every which way, and I got them right. So they come through, and they're proud of me.
Where did you take that test at?
On the train.
On the train?
Yeah.
Headed for...
We was on the train 7 days and 7 nights going to California.
Wait, okay.
So
when you left Jefferson Barracks, you went to
Petersburg, Florida.
Petersburg, Florida. Is that on that train trip is when you took that test? Or is it when you were going to California?
Going to California.
Okay. Well, what did you do at St. Petersburg?
Pardon?
What did you do at St. Petersburg, Florida?
Oh, it's basic training.
So that's where you had your basic training?
Yeah.
And you weren't assigned to any outfit yet? This is basic training, running and calisthenics and backpacking for 13 weeks?
No, it wasn't that long.
You don't remember how long it was?
Most of them was 8 weeks.
About 8 weeks?
I was about to catch it.
But you weren't assigned to any particular outfit or anything like that. You're like regular Army, I guess. So from St. Petersburg, Florida, that's when you went to California? Is that right?
Right.
And then you took that test on the way up there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them, they made corporals, and hell, they didn't make a thing out of me. I went off in the wild blue, singing off the wild blue yonder doing KP.
So what area were you at in California?
Oh, we was up and down the coast there, from Davisville, clean to on down to Santa Anita. I got to steal the racetrack, but didn't get the bet. It had a guy that from Oklahoma, damn, he had money, and we wouldn't eat there. He'd sing no letter, play no letter day on the jukebox, and he'd buy the Blue Plate Special. I'd go with him. He just cried. I said, "Oh hell, that won't hurt her."
He was crying?
Huh?
You said he was crying?
Oh yeah, he cried all the time.
What, being homesick or something?
Well, his wife wasn't right to him.
Who was this guy?
I don't know his name now.
Just somebody you met in California? You said you were all over the place in California?
Yeah.
You didn't go to one camp?
I went home with a guy named Macy, and his father was a police officer down in San Diego, and we were going out to eat some lobster fish, he's called them, and had pickled anchovies, and I eat about half of them. And then they sent us back up to Davis to Agricultural College, and hell, they growed watermelons up there. These experiments weigh 60, 70 pounds. And the English walnut trees, I just hit them like a fox squirrel.
What area was that?
It's right close to Sacramento.
Close to Sacramento, California.
Mm-hmm. And we worked in about the time the Japs had all the canneries and stuff out there, and they took them over, and they come and get us and take us down there in them Cadillacs and Lincolns, and with a can of tomatoes.
Do you remember the name of the camp at, yeah, I said it, was it Algiers Field? What was the name of the camp at our airfield at St. Petersburg, Florida?
There wasn't no field there.
It was, oh, they put you up in hotels.
Oh yeah. And you come up, it's supposed to be a strong wind, and you fill up the bathtubs of water.
Remember what kind of training you had there? It was basic training.
Basic training, yes.
You remember any of the stuff you did, basic training?
They come out there and they had a bunch of little pokes. They said, now you guys fill them up with sand. We wonder what the hell that is. And they put us on the island over there, and here come a bunch of beggars and whooped the hell out of us and run us open the Gulf. They had a Navy base there. That's first.
What happened with that bag? Is the bags of sand?
Huh?
But what happened with the bags of sand? Who came by?
Well, you throw them at each other.
Who?
Yeah, we supposed to be dug in and they allowed it.
Used them for hand grenades, and we used flour. I guess they used sand.
Oh, you used little sand?
Marked battles.
You had little bags of sand to
Yeah.
throw at each other.
Just throw them at each other.
So did you get hit, or did you hit anybody?
Oh, yeah. I hit a few. I got hit lots. I died off in the water. And
You dove out in the water to get away from it?
I went out on a pier out there, and they told you rod and reel and the bait, and I'd catch one, and I asked no time sitting there, that ain't good, that ain't no good, and I'd throw him back. Finally I got tired, and I caught some damn thing about that long, I started throwing him back, and he grabbed my arm and said, hey, that's good eating. I said, that's about time I caught a good one.
What were those hotels like that you stayed in?
Oh, they was nice.
You had running water and
Oh, hell yeah, everything.
hot water, hot and cold water?
Hot and cold water. And we took a ferry boat and went over to Tampa and seen the dog race. That's the first dog race I've ever seen. Bought some cigars, they rolled cigars over there. We was living high on the hog.
So you like basic training?
Well, I had it out here in the CC camp. I know a little about it. We had Army officers out there.
Well, so you have a little kind of stuff in CC camps. Mark, did you do some marching and stuff in CC camps?
No.
Just had to get up early and
Make you bunk and fall out for retreat.
And your job at CC camps was in the fire tower?
Yeah.
The forest, what do they call that?
What?
What do you call it? The forestry?
Well, it was, they really called it timber stand improvement. But during fire season, see, there'd be a lot on fire guard. And he was a tower man.
What is stand?
If he located a fire, he'd radio it to wherever we'd on. They'd have crews on standby, and he'd radio it in, and then the crews would go fight the fire.
Did you know Bert Abney?
Yeah.
He was on Zora out there, and had Bishop on Westover, and they didn't make it hard on you. They'd get a smoke and they line it up and they stitch across it with their out of dates, and hell, they'd get in a half mile of the thing. And one time in there at the ranger station, they had this all plugged up, and I heard Bert said, "There is a little smoke." Yeah, I said, "It's over the old fox run over there." I kept listening, and finally I just took a shot. And I said, "This is Floyd. They got a little smoke for you." He said, "Whereabouts?" I told him it was estimated at 18 miles. Bert called it in. They said, "Yeah, Palmer done reported that. Well, I don't see how I could see it. It's now getting up above the tree.
What do you call that? Timber stand improvement?
Yeah.
That's the whole program or something?
No, that's one of the jobs they had. They, this was, this area, what did they call that? Conservation, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's Conservation Corps.
Conservation, yeah.
And your job was to go up in the tower and watch for fires and report them. What do they call those towers?
Lookout.
Lookout towers? What was your tower's name? Were you in Czar Tower?
Yeah, I was in them all. Florida,
You
Georgia,
went to different ones?
Westover, Pigeon Roost.
He called in a bunch of lightning bugs one time in a holler. Didn't Bob? Did you call in? Frank, he called in. There was a fire. He thought in the head of a holler, and he told him there's a bunch of lightning bugs.
You get a reflection on the damn windows. It's hard to get one right there.
Yeah.
Okay, when you're in California, it's kind of you just kind of bounced around up and down the coast more or less. They would tell you to go here or there, or what was the reason? Because it seems like most people go to a certain base and they stay there for a while.
Well, they sent us to radio school up in the mountains, and it was a far camp up there. And the first thing I learned is saying 3 this, 4 this, 2 this, no, that's shit. And they had a kid in there. He typed for the. He typed for the FBI, and some of the bitch while you hit the carriage where he had wham, it sounded like a machine gun.
So when you went to California, you went to radio school right away. When you first got there, you started going to a radio school?
Yeah.
So if you were assigned to a radio school, I guess you were assigned to the Air Corps by that time?
Well, no, they sent us down there to, what the hell was the name of that little, it was an air base. I went on the old Rip Doherty down there. Well, I'll be goddamn. I'll think of it better tomorrow. Oh, I had a phone, I'd call you up.
Langley Field or?
Well, anyhow, we had a guy I was in there with named Courtney, and he was a big wig in the hotel business in Iowa, and we went off. And hell, he didn't go. He knew nothing about it. He waved at us and we marched on by.
Well, do you remember when you got into being in the Air Corps part?
Well, they sent over to England, and I was on a replacement depot. It was in Sherwood Forest. They shipped them old oak trees. They had props on them, holding them up. And good baseballs and gloves. I wish I took some. Hell, you get one knocked away. They wouldn't go chase it, go get another.
So until you went to England, you were just like general in the General Army, not really assigned to any area or anything. And as far as what you did in California, it was basically mainly going to school, going to radio school. Any other kind of training in California?
I thought I was going to make a good scout. They took us out His hollering hubbed to hell, and we went out, and they said anything you don't want to. They put out guys that's supposed to be on machine gun. Said anything you don't want to take away, pull it off. Hell off come the gas mask. So I took my little truce and went down the holler there, and I seen the goddamn. He raised the flag. I was done shot. He come back and said, "Where's your mask?" I said, "Well, it wasn't there." We had up for just tonight, and they put the damn things in the truck.
So I guess if you go to radio school, you could be a radio operator on the ground or in a plane or anywhere. So I guess.
When I was working the boundaries, this guy come down here from Kansas City, got an airline up there. United, I think that's the name of it. And he wanted me to go over and fly for him. We had radio control. You have a lead plane, and you'd have two on there, and you sit there and you tap out a signal, and he could tell how far back he was. You learn that from the line misses. They send up 200 planes and look like 1,000. They just cover the sky.
That was while you were in England?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that you learned in radio school, you mean?
Pardon?
That's one of the things you learned while you were in radio school? You said the train ride from St. Petersburg to California took 7 days?
We was up in the mountains, and they had these snow sheds, and one of them caved in, and we had to back up 45 miles. I got off of it just like an old sailor, been on the ship for about 6 months.
That's because you ran into snow in the mountains. It took some... Oh, you said you visited your brothers while you were in California?
Larry come up to see me. He'd been in a poker house down there, and he'd won a lot of money. And he come up and he bought me and got me all the. You couldn't buy whiskey, you buy rum. And they always had a big time up there. And we had a Quonset hut. Well, hell, they just plywood put up with a. Over there, the sergeant come in. He was a damn donkey. Fell over his stool, knocked the light out. I thought he threw us all on KP. Later, he got up and left.
So where was Leonard at while you were there?
I went down to see him and missed him. Well, I'll think of the name in a minute. He had a zoot suit in the war going on there.
What's that? A zoot suit in the war?
A zoot suit.
He had the big long coats and the chain hung down the side. And we know.
That was a civilian. A zoot suit was guys that stood on the corners and dressed up like have on an old suit, and they had a long keychain.
Yeah.
And they'd stand there and whirl that, and that's what they call zoot suiters.
That was Leonard that did that?
No.
That was...
He was in the 80th Corps. Had a 37 cannon. It wasn't worth a shit. We couldn't shoot through this old house with it only.
Which brother was it that you seen in California?
Leonard.
And he came up to see you?
Yeah.
But you don't remember what base he was at, where he came from? So after California, you went to New York?
Oh, yeah. And we went up there and they loaded, we seen one of the queens, I don't know where it's Elizabeth, Mary, but hell, she's bigger than the dock on her.
Oh, the ship?
Yeah. And we was loading on a boat there, and I thought, boy, this is going to be fine. It's Ile de France. It's a French liner. And goddamn, they kept packing them in there, and we didn't have room to breathe.
What was the name of the ship?
Ile de France. It's got blowed up over some movie outfit bought it and blowed it up over in Japan.
You know what kind of ship? It was a big ship, but you don't remember what kind.
Well, it was a good size. It hold a minor division.
It was like a troop, just like a regular troop ship.
Well, yeah, them old embassy ships, you could take a paddle out and run one of them.
Just regular tubs.
Remember how long it took you to get over to England?
Oh,
Was it anything eventful happen?
well, we left there and we went down to sailed down the coast, got down close to Florida. And then, his English had control of the boat, and they took off across there, and I heard I said, what the hell's that? They said, it's a submarine. And they run out there, and the old gun was one of them you put the powder in a bag and station in there, and a solid projectile. And they looked around there and said, no, it was a freighter. It finally flashed its light. I wish it shot those things. I'd like to hear the roar.
But the New York area, do you remember what harbor that was? Was it were you at a camp there, or you just arrived at New York?
Oh, we was
Camp Kilmer?
oh, there's another. Keep it talking. You hit it right in a minute.
I can remember Camp Kilmer, but I can't remember.
I don't even remember the closest I was to New York was in the harbor.
Camp Kilmer.
Especially, New York City.
Was it New York City or New Jersey?
It's New York.
New York.
I know the guy took me over into town, and hell, I didn't know where it was at. And I had to go through the tunnel to get over there.
Do you remember, did you get seasick on the way over?
I had a cast iron stomach.
Cast a what?
Cast iron stomach.
Yeah. I guess you did some gambling on the boat on the way over?
Get what?
Did some gambling on the boat on the way over?
Yeah. When they done the gambling coming back, we worked detailed coming back on the ship, and here's a hospital ship, and goddamn, we shoot craps, and I said, hell wouldn't have it. I had to callus on both knees. I won about $800. Boy, that was a big wad for me. And I come in St. Louis, and I stayed all night up the Rudders, and I went downtown and bought me a new suit of clothes. I was really stepping out then.
But other than that, going across over to England, you just you don't remember anything special? Did you zigzag across, or just straight shot through? Or
Oh, the zigzag.
did you stay up on the top deck? Did you slip
Oh,
over
you
the
could
top?
go up there, and what's fascinated me to see the phosphorus in the water, where the propellers churn it up, and make a little glow right then.
A glow came from what?
From the faucets in the water.
Faucets? Do you remember?
Just like a phone, wasn't
Turning from the propellers?
Mm-hmm.
Was there what? Was there a light by the propellers too?
Pardon?
Was there a light by the propellers? The propellers just turned up the water and.
Yeah.
No, they wasn't no lights on no ships going
No.
overseas. No lights whatsoever.
So you watched it in the daytime, or did you watch it at nighttime?
You couldn't see it in the daytime.
So you had to watch it. You seen it at nighttime,
Mm-hmm.
and it would glow. It would more or less glow, or it looked like it glowed.
Well, it's a glow.
What, created from the foam, or where did it glow
I
from?
have no idea. Most of my trip, I was sick. I couldn't stand up.
Remember what happened when you first arrived in England?
Yeah, they had a bombing raid over there.
Oh, what?
Had a raid, Germans.
So you had a bomb raid as soon as you first got there.
Yeah, they broke us in right.
It was what?
They broke us in right.
Yeah. Were they bombing the base that you were at, or where was?
Well, hell, they just dropped them and run.
Okay.
And long last the war, they started putting up balloons and had nets on them. And they catch these V1 bombs when they come over. You could hear one, they go, when they hit the motor off, while he headed for the ground.
You
And
see a lot of V1? Did you see V1s up while you were over there?
yeah,
Where, when did you start seeing those? You probably didn't start seeing those till after D-Day, I don't think.
oh yeah, that's after D-Day.
Okay. Well, I get to those. When you first got over there, were you at Nottingham Center? Nottingham?
Mhm.
That's the name of the city that you're in, more or less?
Yeah.
And that's where you lived?
Oh, that's before we stayed in the tent.
Stayed in a tent?
They had a big stone and they took a dozer and got it out of the way so they could move tanks there. And the English got their raising hell said there's a witch bird of that they want to put back, so they put it back.
Do you remember what kind? Did you do any training? Any more training while you were at Nottingham?
Yeah, we were just waiting for a replacement.
So was that like the replacement depot, more or less?
Mm-hmm.
There was a replacement depot at Nottingham Shower. That's what I have. Do you remember? Do you remember a place called Langer Field?
Sounds familiar, but I can't recall.
This would be in England. Either Langer Field or Walford Park. You remember either one of those? Do you remember when you got put into the, I forgot what, the 4th, 35th Troop Carrier Squadron?
Pardon?
Were you in the 453rd Troop Carrier Squadron?
I was a 77 Truth Tower Squadron.
But the 435th group?
It was, they assigned them to the different units, and this faction over in France, they have different colored parachutes for this and that. They drop them, and the women pick them up first, and they drop them.
Who pick them up?
Women make dresses out of
Ah,
this silk.
that was for training?
No, this silk.
No, I mean training. You
Oh, yeah.
They got to be parachuting trained as part of training?
And they had nylon ropes and they pulled these gliders with. The gliders, when they went over, they had what they call a pathfinder. The damn outfit went over there and they dropped flares for they wanted on the troops dropped. And so there we come with the troops. We pulled some French Canadians. And I was going up to we had there's a big dirt mountain, and he pulled the planes in there and said, well, I looked up through there, and there's a damn French Canadian. He cleaned his rifle. He just laughed. We took him over. I don't know where the same one. I said, I hope you don't get back, you son of a bitch. They kicked him out of the plane just fast they go.
What outfit were they with?
Oh, they's Canadians as hell. They's mean.
Were they like commandos or what? Do you remember what outfit they were with?
They talked French, and
now, where did you take them to?
hell, any place, with Normandy and anywhere in there they need them.
Did you take those French Canadians to Market Garden or up around Holland?
We pulled some in there.
Okay, let's see. Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm going to get to that. I'm building up to that. But at Nottingham, that's where you got from the replacement depot. That's when you got assigned to the 7th Group Squadron, or Troop Carrier Squadron.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, after you got assigned to the Troop Carrier Squadron, and you were over there for a while. This was a few months before D-Day or anything like that. Did you guys do a lot of? And I guess you're in England, mainly for those guys to prepare for D-Day, right? Do you remember doing any practicing as far as like the anti-paratroopers that you took around to drop out for practice type things? No?
I think they done had them over there.
Well, do you remember when you arrived in England?
I can't remember nothing. I'd be a poor damn guy to.
But it was before D-Day, right? When you got to England? Or did you come later?
Come later.
So you didn't fly in any of the C-47s on D-Day?
They'd have a whole squadron, and they'd have a plane painted. He'd go up and he'd keep circling, and all these planes come on it till they got in formation. They come down, they take up another bunch. Now hell, the Germans knew where they was going.
Where's that at?
In England.
But you don't remember being in England on D-Day?
I know when we was flying the spies over there that the old battleship Texas laid over there in the channel and fired about hell, I don't know how many rounds. Hit a buff there on the French side. I guess he's trying to knock something out. Them big guns, they fire so many rounds, they just take them back to Philadelphia and they heat them and take out take out cylinder sleeves something.
So you remember flying over and seeing the battleship Texas firing on D-Day?
He was throwing that shield at him. I guess he was unloading ammunition.
Well, did you go to Sicily at any time? Did you say you were in Sicily?
Yeah.
Did you drop paratroopers into Sicily?
Germans didn't pull out. That was an easy run. That made some points on it.
If you're at Sicily, then I'm pretty sure you're at D-Day. You don't remember what happened on D-Day. When you carried paratroopers, do you remember what paratroopers they were?
There's the 101st and 82nd.
And you don't remember carrying the 101st paratroopers over on D-Day? Or any gliders?
He probably might have carried them to Battle of the Woods.
Do you remember carrying any?
Pardon?
Do you remember at any time carrying paratroopers and dropping them out for some kind of landing? Either D-Day, over and dropping them on France for the Channel crossing, or for dropping them in Holland?
They're at Bastogne. Just come down close, putting them in a tank. When we took radio school out there, we had some time off, and they asked us what we want to be, and I said a truck driver. And the old boy filled up my license. He put a medium tank, and Germans broke through the Bastogne, and he said he's coming through, and this guy grabbing up cooks and everything else, throw in there. And we'd make flies over there, and there's snow on the ground. There's like this here, and hell, the Germans are getting most of them. They see a parachute go down. Hell, you couldn't aim that thing. You want to get it and get it.
The wind would blow so damn hard, you'd drop it here, and then it'd land 4 miles over. Yeah.
Do you remember, you flew in a C-47?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember any of the numbers that they wrote on them? Like on the nose or on the tail of the plane? Or did you, I guess you you didn't fly in the same one all the time, did you?
No. There's I was in a B-24 a little while. He converted to call more gas. C-47, he'd burned about as much gas in the hull. He'd take over about 700 gallons, and they'd burn about 700 gallons.
You can't remember any of the numbers, though, as like this. But there were like code numbers on the planes, I think.
They got T-46s over there, and they shut down a whole damn bunch of them. They're supposed to be bigger planes. You could put a bowling alley in it. And they made a run over Germany. I think about 3 of them got back.
Did you ever, or dropping troops or a glider, did you ever get into flak or?
Oh yeah, you'd see flak coming up, but it looked like old dirty puffballs that just shook the ground.
Where was it that you seen the flak at? Do you remember?
When we crossed the Rhine, right there. Oh shit! There I go again.
You dropped some troops behind the Rhine. Do you remember what kind of troops those were?
He was paratroopers.
Those would have probably been British paratroopers. Those would have probably been British paratroopers. You remember seeing any searchlights when you're flying it? You remember dropping paratroopers at nighttime?
No.
No? Or pulling gliders at nighttime? Yeah. Did any fighter planes follow you when you carried paratroopers? Yeah.
The only defense we had against them is let all the flaps down and they could fly that damn thing about 90 miles an hour, and the fighters stalled out.
Did you bring wounded people back sometimes?
Pardon?
Did you carry wounded people back sometimes?
Oh, after the Russians, we picked up loads of them.
Where's that at?
He's up
Oh, after the Russians took Berlin?
in Poland and all through there.
Yeah. Did you have to do anything with them, or did they have medics and stuff taking care of all those guys?
Well, they're taken care of pretty well.
What about southern France? You dropped in on southern France. That's where you were wounded at, right? How come you landed there? Was there a reason? Were you forced to land there, or your plane?
Well, hell, Flynn, he was I flew with him quite a bit, and he joined the Canadian Air Force.
Who's Flynn?
His name is Lieutenant, and he got into it, and of course, America got in the war, and he joined them in his TO for a fighter pilot, and they put him in that, and hell, he'd fly by himself, and he'd land the damn thing anywhere, and he could talk German or anything. He'd get off and just raise hell with them.
So the place where you got wounded, why did you land there?
Nice.
Nice, France?
It's right down on the coast.
And how come, did you plan to land there, or did you have to land
No,
there?
we had to land.
How come you had to land?
He's running out of fuel. Old Clutch, he's was a mechanic from Mississippi, and she wasn't firing right. He'd come in on one motor. He's throwing oil every place. And we was down at Bastogne, and they had a bunch of 50s, they don't shoot very fast, they chug, chug, chug. And goddamn, maybe a German come over, chug, chug, chug. You can see the tracer and hell, they'd be a quarter of a mile behind him. And he made us get out of there. Take bicycle to over in France and sell them for $100. That was a life. No wonder I feel so bad.
But when you landed in East France, it wasn't because you were shot down or anything. You had motor problems, engine problems. And then when you landed, as soon as you landed, you seen they were having some kind of firefight down the street.
Half the Frenchmen hid. Goddamn, as soon as you could run the Germans out, well, the town would be full of Frenchmen.
And you remember what happened when the time you got shot?
Just wanted to see if the VSW give me a pension for the short hell I didn't get one.
You can't remember what happened now?
Huh?
You can't remember what happened? Or...
I can't even remember if it was this tomorrow or yesterday.
Do you remember why you were in southern France? What you were doing, what the job was for being there? Is that part of the invasion of southern France?
No.
No. But you don't remember Market Garden necessarily. Are taking paratroopers or gliders to Holland? Do you remember Brittany, France? How would you pronounce that?
I don't know.
That's the second word from the top. It's a French word, I guess. Do you remember the name of the airfield that you're at in around Paris?
I didn't know it had a name, but we stood in retreat inside the Eiffel Tower.
You can see the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, yeah.
Something like Brittany. Does that sound right?
Yeah. I'd get a lot of fun out of it. I'd go to town, I'd wear about like what I got on now. Some of the replacements come over and they try to talk French to me. I said, I can talk your language. You go, oh, you can't. There's we'd take over rations, and I'd steal some of them and sell them to Frenchmen up there. And I'd cuss him. I said, "You son of a bitch, you're